Hey, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Cecily Cardew.
Cecily Cardew, what a very nice name. I have a feeling we're going to be great friends. My first impressions are never wrong.
How nice of you to like me after a comparatively short time of knowing me. Pray, sit down.
I may call you Cecily, may I?
With pleasure.
And you always call me Gwendolyn, won't you?
If you wish.
Then it is all quite settled, is it not?
I hope so.
You are here on a short visit, I suppose.
Oh no, I live here.
Really? Your mother or some relative in advance of yours resides here also?
Oh no, I have no mother, nor in fact any relations.
Indeed?
My dear guardian, with the assistance of Miss Prism, has the arduous task of looking after me.
Your guardian?
Yes, I am Mr. Worthing's ward.
I cannot help expressing I wish you were, well, just a little older than you seem to be, and not quite so very alluring in appearance, in fact, if I may speak candidly.
Pray do! I think that whenever one has anything unpleasant to say, one should always be quite candid.
Well, to speak with a perfect candor, Cecily, I wish you were fully 42 and more than usually plain for your age. Ernest is a strong, uptight nature.
I beg your pardon, Gwendolyn. Did you say Ernest?
Yes.
Oh, but it is not Mr. Ernest Worthing who is my guardian. It is his brother.
Ernest never mentioned to me that he had a brother.
I'm sorry to say that they have not been on good terms for a long time.
Of course you are quite sure that it is not Mr. Ernest Worthing that is your guardian.
Quite sure. In fact, I'm going to be his.
I beg your pardon?
Dearest Gwendolyn, there's no reason why I should make a secret of it to you. Our little county newspaper is sure to chronicle the fact next week. Mr. Ernest Worthing and I are engaged to be married.
My darling Cecily, I think there must be some slight error. Mr. Ernest Worthing is engaged to me. The announcement will appear in the Morning Post this Saturday at the latest.
I'm afraid he must be under some misconception. Ernest proposed to me exactly 10 minutes ago.
It is certainly very curious for he to ask me to be his wife yesterday afternoon at 5:30. I never traveled on my diary.
It would distress me more than I can tell you, dear Gwendolyn, if it has caused you any mental or physical anguish. But I feel bound to point out that since Ernest proposed to you, he clearly has changed his mind.
If the poor fellow has been entrapped into any foolish promise, consider my duty to rescue him at once with a firm hand.
Whatever entanglement my dear boy may have gotten into, I will never reproach him with it after we are married.
Do you allude to me, Miss Cardew, as an entanglement? You are presumptuous on an occasion of its kind, and it's become the moral duty to speak on its mind. It's become a pleasure.
Do you suggest, Miss Fairfax, that I entrapped Ernest into an engagement? When I see a spade, I call it a spade.
I am glad to say that I've never seen a spade. It is obvious that our social spheres have been widely different. Ernest, my own Ernest.
Gwendolyn, darling.
A moment. May I ask you if you are engaged to this young lady right here?
Of course not. What would put that in your pretty little head?
Thank you. You may.
I knew there must be some misunderstanding, Miss Fairfax. The gentleman whose arm is around your waist is my dear guardian, Mr. John Worthing.
I beg your pardon?
This is Uncle Jack.
Jack?
Here is Ernest.
My own love.
A moment. May I ask you, are you engaged to be married to this young lady?
To what young lady? Good heavens, Gwendolyn.
Yes, good heavens, Gwendolyn. I mean, Gwendolyn.
Of course not. What could have put such a crazy idea into your pretty little head?
Thank you, you may.
I felt there was some slight error. Miss Cardew, this gentleman who is now embracing you is my cousin, Mr. Algernon Moncrief.
Algernon Moncrief? Oh, are you called Algernon?
I cannot deny it.
Oh,
Is your name really John?
I could deny it if I liked, but my name is certainly John. It's been John for years.
My poor wounded Cecily.
my sweet wronged Gwendolyn.
You will call me sister, will you not?
There's just one question I would like to be allowed to ask my guardian.
An admirable idea, Mr. Worthing. There is just one question I would like to be permitted to put to you. Where's your brother Ernest? We are both engaged and married to your brother Ernest, so it is a matter of importance to know where your brother Ernest is at present.
Cecily, it is very painful for me to be forced to speak the truth. It is the first time in my life that I have ever been reduced to such a painful position, and I am really quite inexperienced in doing anything of that kind. However, I will tell you quite frankly that I have no brother Ernest. I have no brother at all. I never had a brother in my life, and I certainly have not the smallest intention of ever having one in the future.
No brother at all?
None.
Had you never a brother of any kind?
Never. Not ever of any kind.
I'm afraid it's quite clear, Cecily. Neither of us are engaged to an Ernest.
It is not a very pleasant position for a young girl to suddenly find herself in.
Let us go into the house.
Ghastly state of things is what you call bun burning, I suppose?
Yes, a perfectly wonderful bun bearing. It is the most wonderful bun bearing I have ever had in my life.
Well, you've no right whatsoever to bunbury here.
That is absurd. One has the right to bunbury anywhere one chooses. Every serious bunburyist knows that.
Serious bunburyist, good heavens.
Well, one must be serious about something if one wants to have any amusement in life. I happen to be serious about bunburying. What on earth you are serious about, I haven't got the remotest idea. About anything, everything I should have fancied. You have such an absolutely trivial nature.
Well, the only small satisfaction I have in the whole of this wretched business is that your friend Bunbury is quite exploded. You won't be able to run down to the country quite so often as you used to do, dear Algie, and a very good thing too.
Your brother is a little off color, isn't he? Dear Jack, you won't be able to disappear in London quite so frequently as you would custom was, and not a bad thing either.
As for your conduct towards Miss Cardew, I must say that you're taking the sweet, simple, innocent girl that is quite inexcusable. To say nothing of the fact that she is my ward.
I can see no possible defense at all for your deceiving a brilliant, clever, thoroughly experienced young lady like Miss Fairfax, to say nothing of the fact that she is my cousin.
I wanted to be engaged to Gwendolyn, that is all. I love her.
Well, I simply want to be engaged to Cecily. I adore her.
There is certainly no chance of you marrying Miss Cardew.
I don't think there is much like of you and Miss Fairfax being united.
Well, that is no business of yours.
If it was my business, I wouldn't talk about it. It is very vulgar to talk about one's business. Only people like stockbrokers do that, and then merely at dinner tables.
How you can sit there calmly eating muffins when we are in this horrible trouble, I can't make out. You seem to me to be perfectly heartless.
Well, I can't eat muffins in an agitated manner. The butter would probably get off my cuffs. One should always eat muffins quite calmly. It is the only way to eat them.
I say it's perfectly heartless you're eating muffins at all, under the circumstances.
When I am in trouble, eating is the only thing that consoles me. Indeed, when I am really great trouble, as anyone who knows me immediately will tell you, I refuse everything except food and drink. At the present moment, I am eating muffins because I am unhappy. Besides, I am particularly fond of muffins.
Well, that is no reason why you should eat them all that greedy way.
I wish you would have a tea cake instead. I don't like tea cake.
Good heavens, I suppose a man may eat his own muffins in his own garden.